Alright folks, we are back again here at the Killing Floor Games in the studio here, and together I'm gonna do some commentary here with Flux on the runners up today, where the team MGC is going to for the runners up and see what kind of place they get, third or fourth place. And we're gonna do a map rotation here because we don't have that done yet, so let's have a look to the map selection and see what we're gonna pull off. Alright Flux, looks like we got an Hellride map here,
Ooh, this should be interesting.
which we haven't seen yet from Mylanders of the tournament, so it's gonna be the first time we're gonna see that one.
Yeah, definitely. Just wondering if the teams have actually been practicing these maps, especially as it's going to be their last chance for that extra bit.
Yeah, it's one of the holiday maps, and I do know that in general in public people had quite a bit hard time with this map.
In most cases, people tend to have a problem with just how close and how compact everything is. The spawns generally are very close, let alone the map itself.
Yeah.
So, tactics are going to be a lot different to what we can see in other maps. Definitely won't be a, I'll sit in this corner.
No, for sure not. The nice part is that there are 3 traders and they're relatively close to each other. So there's a lot of guesswork that we can under those traders. Seems we got here 3 Zerkers already.
And we must remember this team has a history in this tournament so far, all games being 4 Berserkers, a Demo and a Medic. It does seem like they're actually changing up their perks this time. They have 3 Berserkers, the Medic and the Demo, and 1 support.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to have swapped then 1 Berserker for the support, and I'm quite curious what role is gonna play and also what spot they're gonna hold. One of those more famous spots is near the spawn, where there's a corridor with a door you can weld. It's a very famous one.
Now, would this surprise you, but the only time I've ever seen this is when we actually, you know, when we did our little friendly fire fun game. That's the only time I've ever seen it on that spot. I've never seen it in a public game, I've never seen it on my games either. So it should be interesting to see how it works.
Yeah, I mean, I can quite understand the Berserker don't come to their true right there, because it's very narrow for those guys, you know? Especially if you build the back door, you can put the Berserker there. It's a little bit unused.
Trying to figure out. Oh yeah, I see it. The problem with this spot is that you're so confined that 1 hot shot can hit all 6 players. That's something you really do not want. So they're going to have to at least space themselves if they do that. Especially when they got 3 Berserkers. But even then, you know, 3 itself, would that be classed as too much? Wouldn't they be best with maybe 2 sharpshooters and only 1 Berserker?
Yeah.
We'll just have to see how they play out. Seem like they're just double checking the connections, making sure there's no problems before they start the game.
Here we go, we got the first ready up there.
Yep. So have you had a large experience with this map, or has it just been one of those maps you just play once now and then?
Well, definitely one of those, because what happens usually in the audience or in public is that they tend to not use those holiday maps too much. You know, they stick to the core maps. I mean, when the event comes first up, the
Oh, wow.
mostly when the map comes up, people play it a lot, but afterwards it kind of starts to disappear to those core maps again.
Yeah, I think it's coming down to the whole everyone just wants the achievement, and they just ruin the fun because they played it so much, and they just go back to what they were used to.
Yeah.
But this is what me and a few of my members have done in my community, where we don't really play the map itself. If there is any specific achievements only for that event, we maybe pick a few up, but we never get the map ones really.
Yeah.
It just kind of makes the map boring.
Well, we seem to have a spot here near one of those traders. Quite curious. I think they do have that trader. That will be the most efficient to actually go already to your trader. You know, since wave 1 is mostly in let's figure where it is part.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I like this spot. This is one of the ones I'm used to. I've tried out another 2 more as well. But this one seems to be really effective, obviously, like you were saying. Very close to the traders. One of them you may have a bit of trouble with, but it's not that much of a problem. But on here, you've got a ton of spawns. They come in all directions. And to be honest, with their perk layout, this is going to be a perfect spot.
I mean, one of the tricky parts is sometimes squallers can also come from a lot of different directions, like the roof. So that's going to be tricky. But hey,
yeah,
if they can manage.
See, the problem is, if they start to move in this room where they are now, it gets so hard and difficult to figure out what's a Z and what's a background, because they blend in so well. But while they're outside that room, they've got that little background glow that makes it very easy to see them, so they're almost like a shadow.
Yeah. Oh, there we go, another drop from the top there, out of that hole.
Now, I do believe that could change the gameplay for them in the later waves. Like, if a flashbang comes from the door, and then they might move this up underneath that spawn, and it will just jump on top. For my personal self, I have tried another spot, which is, you see the room they was just in?
Yep.
You got that corner with the cylinder whirly background part.
Oh yes.
I've actually had it, so we've actually held up there, and it's a lot faster.
Yeah.
But it does come with a lot bigger risk.
And then there's also the other trader with quite a few doors there you can weld on other spots. But hey, they do something interesting, and I'm quite curious what happens here if we're gonna get attacked from multiple sides. It seems the Berserker at the end doesn't have too much work to do yet.
Yeah, usually in this spot, basically all the spawns are basically on their front. And you'd maybe get the odd spawn on the back end. The only problem they're going to have is maybe where they have the bigger Z, so a Scrake and a Flashbang come from each end at the same time.
Yeah.
Depending on what is there, will change how or where they're going to move to.
They do have the support specialist, so sometimes in the worst of the worst, they can actually weld that door on the right to a little bit off pressure, but then again, you have to maintain the door.
Yeah, the problem with that is, if they weld that door there, it's very weak. Like this map, the actual doors are, most of them are actually quite weak at times. So when they hit a certain amount of Zs, they literally just flick off and they just blow up. Also, the problem with this, you also got their spawn on top. So they've only got it at the front, the side, which will be behind the door, but you have it on top. It gets very, I wouldn't say it would be impossible, but it gets extremely hard to maintain the door as well as maintain the health while being damage from that general spawn there.
Yeah.
If some people might say, you know, it'd be okay to take on, you know, 5-10 damage. But if you get that constantly, it adds to a lot. Especially if you get a spawn of 4.
There we go. And of course a nearby trader, which is really nice, you know. It saves them a lot of time, and one of those teams already did in previous tournaments, holding down near the trader. That's great to do.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, this is one spot that I say the sharp is also nice, because you can really pick them off the distance here.
On this spot, sharpshooter is amazing because it doesn't really matter what perk layout you go for the sharpshooter, because every single weapon is great for this spot. You know, it's close combat, so that'd be the pistols, or the lever action, or the M14. You also have the range advantage, which would be the crossbow, or once again, lever action, and the M14. Every single one fits perfectly for this corner, but not so much for the back end where the berserker is right.
Ooh, we got the back berserker a little bit hit by the siren here, but seem to do alright.
So far, it seems like they're in control, but they are letting. They do seem to have a weakness with this spot, which would be the hush, the sirens. It does seem like the crawlers are getting to their knees more than any other Z at the moment.
Oh, there we go. Another great thing about this spot can be if you put 2 sharps in the L shape, you can actually see what's coming.
Oh, that berserker went down to 30 health.
Medic making a little bit extra hours here.
The one thing that I've noticed so far, that attack there from the Z, like with the siren and that,
Yeah.
every single member was hit. Every single one was in at least yellow, red health. I don't think we've seen that in, especially at wave 3. I don't think we've ever seen anything like that so far.
Oh, another siren coming up. Don't think he noticed her. And there we go, a little bit damage. Oh. Demo lose armor, and almost that Zerg went gone.
This is looking really tough for them right now. Maybe I would advise at this point, not just maybe think about it, that this is definitely an advice. They have to go for a faster melee weapon. They need to keep that constant control.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe even in this situation where, you know, the 2 front berserkers, we have 1 katana and maybe 1 with a slower but more damage melee weapon, so a claymore, a scythe. That would work out. But obviously, they would have the medic would have to make sure both survive.
It will be interesting to see what happens with the team, because it's wave 3. It's the beginning of the stage. They had this damage. Maybe they make a decision in wave 5 or 6 saying, we can't do this at them anymore. So it's gonna be interesting if they're gonna make a tactic change during the mid game.
I actually believe you could be right here, because we've seen wave 3, they started to struggle. We had 2 people in red. We had all of them in orange. The medic is having to heal all 6 of the team. So that's all 5 of the members and himself.
And that excludes without back pressure there on the Zerker.
Exactly. And, you know, he's also getting the odd bit of damage, yes. But it's getting to the point is, what will happen when maybe a Scray comes along? No, let's correct that. What happens when 2 Scrays come along? Can they keep him in control, let alone the Flesh Pound on his own?
Definitely. There we go. Another of those nasty drop spawns there. We did see, by the way, a full skip, which was great. I assume that was one of the far traders in this map. So I think it was more deliberate to pick, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Oh, yeah. The Gorefest keeps sitting there.
Yes, he's getting a little bit too much for them. They haven't got the range advantage. The support himself, I believe, will have to start, you know, really getting in with the shotgun there. Especially as he's got the plain pump-out shotgun, which means he has the best range output for his weapon sets. So he should really be protecting the left door and trying to see of using the penetration to his advantage.
Yeah. Oh, we got a lot of pressure there at the back there. And the
Diamond coming from the front.
there we go. Medic patches him up a little bit at the back.
They're actually losing quite a lot of control. We've got 70 leads left.